All right, everybody, I want to talk to you about that today. Let's get right into it. We're talking about Think Again. This is written by Adam Grant, subtitled The Power of Knowing What You Don't Know. This has been around everywhere. It says #1 New York Times bestselling author of originals. I think this has attained New York Times bestselling status since this cover anyway. I've just seen it everywhere. I see everybody quoting it, and it is good. I would certainly recommend it. It's nothing really worth writing home about. It wasn't. It didn't keep me like super enthralled or anything like that. It was endorsed by Daniel Kahneman and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So, you don't really need much more press than that, in my opinion. He's actually worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on several projects. I want to mention something mainly on the information in here first. And to do that, I want to tell you about Adam Grant and his background. It says Adam Grant is an organizational psychologist at the Wharton School, where he has been the top-rated professor for 7 straight years. His books have sold millions of copies. His TED Talks have been viewed over 25 million times. And his podcast, Work Life with Adam Grant, has topped the charts. His pioneering research has inspired people to rethink fundamental assumptions about motivation, generosity, and creativity. He has been recognized as one of the world's 10 most influential management thinkers and Fortune's 40 Under 40, and has received distinguished scientific achievement awards from the American Psychological Association and the National Science Foundation. Grant received his BA from Harvard University and his PhD from the University of Michigan, and he's a former junior Olympic springboard diver. He lives in Philadelphia with his wife and his 3 children. Definitely a type A personality. Given all of that background, I think it's pretty dependable to say that none of the information is going to be wrong or spurious. The guy has, been through the academic field. He knows how to write a book. He knows how to source his material. There's nothing I can say about the information that's overtly wrong or anything like that. And actually, he has a lot of useful stuff in here. He's got, if you want lots of illustrations and charts, just about every page or every second page for sure seems to have something in it, to the point where it kind of reminds me of something funny in a sitcom. Remember How I Met Your Mother? I can't remember the name of the character who was played by Jason Segel. But Jason Segel, he goes through this phase where he's, using charts to explain the most benign, cliched type things. This book kind of reminded me of that. It's a little bit patronizing on some of the images. Like, did we really need a chart to explain that? That was pretty basic. But again, well, let's talk about my rating for it. I think I put it at 3 stars on Goodreads, so, and I don't know if I rounded up or down. It's somewhere between 2.8 and 3.2 for me. So I think why I wasn't too terribly crazy about it, as good as the information was, is it does come off a little patronizing personally. If you've read this book, maybe tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback if you think it was a little bit condescending in a way, or ingratiating. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. But anyway, it was a valuable read. His main argument here is, I think it's just a call to be more open-minded and how to communicate with people effectively. He definitely wanders into Dale Carnegie type territory, making practical, common sense wisdom sound really heavy-handed and earth-shattering. And who can dispute, like the Dale Carnegie type information? Like, it is valuable, and some people are really just surface level, that they don't understand this sort of thing about people. But he talks a little bit about, how to get on with people and how to have productive conversations. instead of fostering disagreement and contention, especially while we argue with one another. He also talks a lot about decision making, because you need to be open-minded, especially as an entrepreneur. Trying to find that balance between being open-minded and letting dead dogs lie, if you will. But at the same time, the main thing that we hear, especially in personal development and ambitious type entrepreneurialism and careerism, you hear that you got to have tenacity. And so he does effectively explain where that balance is, of being adaptable and valuing what you don't know, trying to mark out that blind spot so that you're open to what you need to know in order to make advancement in whatever career or path that you're on. Where it's a little bit not complicated enough, not sophisticated enough to really make international changes possible, he brings up like the Israeli-Palestine conflict, and his comments were not inflammatory in either direction, really. But it kind of exposes where this becomes too simplistic, because he would acknowledge, and he does acknowledge through parts of his book, where you take what the Jews have been through, the Holocaust, say, or the Black experience with slavery and segregation in the United States. Nobody would justify being, like, oh, I really learned something from this KKK member. You know what I mean? And at the same time, you kind of get that feeling when he comments on the Israel-Palestine situation, where it's like, these people, they just need to understand each other better, not acknowledging the fact that Israel is the main aggressor and that he doesn't really understand the conflict if he's framing it like that. I don't want to get on a digression about Israel and Palestine right now, but the treatment of that conflict that he does, it exposes where this sort of agreeable handling everybody with kitty gloves does run out of currency. There are times where you have to stand on principle, and you can't be a pragmatist about everything, and you have to be a hard ass on certain things, and you got to stand by the facts. And he would acknowledge that in certain other contexts. And he even says that, it is an infinitely difficult problem. You'll never get the balance just perfect. So I acknowledge that. Now, if you're looking for a book that, gives you really practical advice about how to, achieve consensus with people, how to, be in this sort of cooperative leadership scenario where, you have to run the show to some extent. There has to be a captain on deck, but how do you elicit the most amount of respect from those working with you? And how do you yourself be adaptable and amenable to the facts and your own base of ignorance? That's really worthwhile stuff to read. And so I don't want to be too harsh in my criticism of this book. It's more just the tone. So with that, I would love to hear what you made of it. This is just my opinion. I've seen lots of really great press on this book. A lot of people really liked it. So it would be great to hear from you, and I'll see you down there in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. Hey everyone, I hope you liked this video. If you want more like the one you just watched, click the suggested video on this screen. Make sure you subscribe, and to connect with me on my other platforms, my handles are linked below in the description, alright? Take care, peeps. Till next time.